but nobody's going to buy it. Personally, I'll only pay for something which I believe adds value to my life. Right? As Dr. Stern was saying, the education sector and the vision he has and others have, that adds value to somebody's life. And as soon as you have something which adds value, people are willing to pay for it. The issue of payment is important because I believe that, and this was ingrained in me when I was young. This is the second story. I said there were two stories, and I'm done. My father told me that my responsibility to you is to get you to get your first degree in university. After that, I'm done. And what he actually did when I graduated, and I thought he was joking until it happened, is he gave me a big folder. And when I looked in that folder, it had all my reports from primary school. Everything. Everything I've ever brought home from school. And he says, as far as a father, I'm done. But the other thing he told me at the same time was, now you have a university education. The country owes you nothing. The country does not owe you employment. If you get employment, great. The country owes you nothing. You're now educated. Where you have reached, and I forget the percentage that he told me at that time, but we can look it up. This is the top 10 or top 15%, or even smaller, globally, of people who have a first degree. And you're in that group. So the question is, what will you do with that education that you have received? And I hope it is not, I'm waiting for the government to employ me. I'm waiting, why are there not enough jobs? The issue is, why can't you create jobs? And I believe this is the way to go. We are so lucky as the so-called third world, in many ways. And as Dr. Stern mentioned, he used the word leapfrog. Leapfrog simply means that if the developed world went through all these stages to get where they are, well, we know where they are now, so we can go from where we are to where they are in one step. Skip all that transition. And ICT, for us, is the way to go. Because the beauty about ICT, especially applications, it only requires brain power. The computing platform you need to develop applications is minimal. Only requires brain power. Think of everything else we've been asked to do. Agriculture, heavy industries, even the oil we have found. Those still require heavy investment. Applications, brain power. The investment is what you're doing now. You're investing in your brains. Akirachix. I'm hoping at some point the origin of that name and who they are really will be told. Right? It'd be nice to know. It's a nice name, but it's good to know the origins and who you are and so on. But they are the ones who are now investing in your brain power. The university is investing in your brain power. Your sponsors, whether it is your parents, your guardians, yourselves, are investing in your brain power. So you need to ask yourselves, once I have these skills, what exactly am I going to do with it? There are very many young people who don't go to university but go to these middle-level colleges, these training institutions. They learn all this, how to program, how to so on and so forth. So they have the skill set, but they may not necessarily have the ideas or the knowledge on how to translate those skills into something that has an impact on society and must always come back, make some money and make a living. You have those skills. What that means is not only can you employ yourselves, you can employ others who currently cannot employ themselves. I lied when I said there were two stories. I forgot there's one more, then I'm done. Last month, as an example, Sheikh forget the middle name or first name. Rogo was assassinated, killed, murdered, take the phrase you want. After that, for 2 days, an incredibly large number of young people, your age mates, went on a rampage. And you could clearly tell that the rampage, by and large, for most of them, had nothing to do with the person who was killed. It was simply an opportunity that presented itself, and they took advantage of it. Why? They're idle. Most of those people have a secondary school education. They are not, uneducated people. They are very well educated. They have a secondary school. They are smart. A lot of them have these, like I said, these middle level qualifications. A lot of them, or a few of them, are even university graduates, but they don't have anything they're doing. They're idle. And if you look at the issues of security and youth, where you all fall under, except a few individuals in the front may no longer be youth, but the rest of you are. The key connection between security and youth is unemployment, where I'm using it in the broader sense, where self-employment is part of employment. So if you're not even self-employed, you're unemployed. And idle minds, you had this since you were in kindergarten, idle minds are the devil's playground. Now, you can tweak that a bit and say smart idle minds. It's a time bomb waiting to happen. Because you will use that knowledge to do bad things. But I imagine if all of you, after this workshop and the rest of your time here and the other things that you're doing, are able to go out, and even if half of you succeed, to set up your own small operation and employ just 2 or 3 people to help you program. Because remember, at this point now, you'll be the thinker. You'll be the one who's coming up with the big ideas. But the nitty-gritty programming, line coding, you leave to others to code. Bill Gates doesn't code. He's the thinker, or used to be the thinker. Those are that many people you have removed off the streets as being idle. So you need to look at some of these things in multiple perspectives. I don't think, even though we keep saying Kenya, the ICT hub, Kenya has all the potential, I don't think we have even scratched the surface of our potential. Because if you look at most of the innovations that we are being touted about, it's not developed by you and I. Those are multinational corporates who develop them. And if you dig deeper, you find that a lot of the IP behind them, we don't even own that either. Where are the Kenyan thinkers? It's you people. The Indians, the Russians, a lot of Europeans have run with this thing of applications and completely. And are doing quite well with them, and have set up businesses with them. Some have been tiny, have grown to be big, and again, you just Google, you can find out all this information for yourselves. So please, I beg you, I implore you, as you sit here, think big. Think big. Because it's that big thought that you have that will help you get where you want to go. The people who have come, interrogate them, harass them, milk as much knowledge out of them in the next 2 days. Is it 2 days? 3 days. 3 days as you can. That's why they are here. Make connections with them. Even once they leave. So it's not a one-off. They're here and you never see them again. The opportunities they may give you and the opportunities you may give them. So that relationship continues. Making money is not difficult. I know I keep coming back to making money, but I have to, because at the end of the day, if you don't have any money in your pocket, it doesn't matter how educated you are. You will still feel like a dissatisfied citizen of this country. I personally believe making money in a smart brain is not difficult. I personally believe making money with a smart brain is not difficult. All of you have smart brains is why you're in this university. Remember, there are thousands of your colleagues who did secondary school who did make the university. You're here. So, you're a very, very small elite subset of Kenyan society who have reached this far, which means you have the brains. The problem a lot of us don't have is we don't open our eyes to opportunities. I'll go back to that first example. This person said, wait a minute, it's probably a programmer like you who was struggling with his or her phone, I can't tell if it's male or female from the name, and said, what if I can get my phone to work in reverse? Instead of receiving Wi-Fi, transmit Wi-Fi. And figured it out. And now, they're laughing all the way to the bank. That's an observation, combining that with the brain power that you have. And sometimes an opportunity is right in front of you. Open your eyes. When I was in college, I made some good money until a corporate came and shut me down. And I'll tell you how it worked. It was very simple. It was so simple that the time I thought about it, I said, no, this cannot be possible. It's too easy, too simple. At that time, it's in the US, not here, you can buy your phone, mobile phones, they were extremely expensive. So most people didn't have them. Calling through your regular phone, also expensive. Calling through the call box, expensive. What phone companies made extremely cheap, you get a calling card, which is like a scratch card, except the only difference there is you punch the code in, you make your call, and it deducts it from the card. You don't actually load it onto a phone. So scratch cards were actually quite inexpensive. So especially if us foreigners would use them when you're calling Kenya, because it was much cheaper than picking up a phone and direct dial. So you have to call your mother, your father, you get a scratch card. Then these stores that sell things in bulk opened up. And at that time, the dominant company in the US was AT&T. And you found, as I found, that when you buy scratch cards in bulk, so there are many cards, they're identical cards, just that instead of buying one, you must buy at least 10 or 20 of them. They were almost 2/3 off. So you're paying about 1/3 the price. Then you could get those cards, if you bought them, retail at a store, which most people were buying retail. So I asked myself, wait a minute, if I buy them in bulk and I want to sell them, I can sell them somewhere in between, so there's an incentive. I can deliver them to you for free because I simply mail them to you. Mailing you a card costs very little, it's just an envelope and so on. But I needed a platform to sell them. Remember, I'm still a student, like you. Even now, but at that time, it was just coming up that there were e-platforms that you could simply rent space. You don't program anything. You just pay your monthly fee, if that is the option you wanted. Or the company that you're renting space from takes a percentage of your sales. Which means if you sell nothing, they charge you nothing. But if you sell a lot, they get a lot. So as a poor student, of course, I'll go with that option. But if I sell nothing, it's at no cost to me. And it was a very simple thing, and there now, literally, you go on, it's just like a Word document. You make your page look beautiful, you put your things you're selling nicely, they do credit card transactions for you, everything done for you. Right? Then you go on all the forums, you just keep typing, cheap cards, you just go on any forum you can find anywhere, cheap cards. And you sit back and wait. 1 month, nothing. Deathly silence. After 2 months, you start selling a few. By 6 months, you are selling them at a very high rate. Because remember, for argument's sake, I buy them for 30 cents, I sell it for 60 cents, but retail it is 1 shilling. So it appeared that everybody was happy. I'm making money, you're saving, life is good. Why did it work? Observation. I was not smarter than anybody else. I simply observed that this is cheaper than this, and therefore I can connect it this way. Now, to end that story, that died when AT&T, the parent company who owns those cars, of course, they cannot shut me down. I was doing nothing illegal. But, of course, I'm undermining their business because their retail customers, as few as they are, were now buying them from me online at a lower price. Yet, even if you go to their own website online, it's still the full retail price. So I got a very nice love letter from their lawyers. You know, as a student in America, if you get a letter from a lawyer, you're scared to death. Because the first thing that comes to your mind is deportation. So you don't want to misbehave. But all they said was, not that we're shutting you down, they said that you cannot use our logos, our name, blah, blah, blah. It's all copyrighted, which is true. Even if you're selling our product without our permission. And we don't give you permission to use them. So of course now you can't just sell generic cards anymore. That shut it down. But the point I make with that very long-winded story is there are very many opportunities where applications, that time there were no such things as mobile apps. Everything was online, but now it has been downgraded or downscaled to mobile apps. There are so many opportunities staring at you in the face. Look at them, look at your skills, and decide how can I connect these two. And as Dr. Stern said, education is a huge one, but there's so many others that are available to you. So please don't take this opportunity and waste it. When we were discussing, I said I wanted to participate, but now this French thing has really... I want actually to be here because I also want to learn how to do this. I want to be that guy who made $12 million by simply converting my phone to a Wi-Fi hub. Maybe I can do... I don't know. But maybe later on I'll learn from some of you how to do some of these things. But please, even after this is over, see how else you can use some of your skills. So that maybe 10 years from now, we'll be reading about you. And as you're telling your success story on some national TV broadcast, that time you're nice and wealthy, probably if you're a man, you're a little bit bigger. Women, you can't say that, but men enjoy being bigger. But then you can say it all started 10 years ago when the Akirachix came to my university. And that is how I entered it. So again, with those very, very many remarks, I wish you great success in your workshop. I will sneak in and out all through. I'm happy now I have a program with all the venues. If you see me, don't mind me. I'm also trying not to be like you. So with that, let me hand over back to Dr. Stern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DVC Academic Affairs, for that wonderful speech and for setting the platform straight for all of us. I learned a few things from what he said. He said that we need to open our eyes to the greater opportunities available for us. 2 weeks ago, I was at an event dubbed Freedom Online, which was advocating for online freedom, where everybody have that opportunity to express themselves, to open opportunities and space for bloggers. And I met wonderful people. I realized that there are very many opportunities outside there. The other day I was watching an interview by Bill Gates, and he said most of the things he did when he was 20, between 20 and 26. And he would say he cannot lie, at his age now, it's not very productive. Most of us here are between 19 to 23. It's our most active age. If you can't do something now, I don't know when you're going to do it. So sit back. There are a lot more organized for us. And I just want you to open your minds. Open your minds, think big. And then you're going to learn and use the knowledge that you've learned to make ourselves rise a notch higher. At this point, I want to invite our patron, Mr. Cyprian, say something.
Thank you. The DVC AF, our guests, and everyone else, good morning. It's unfortunate that I have to talk after the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, but I'll say a few things. The speakers who have talked before you have said very wonderful things. This event focuses on young people, okay? So just as the DVC said and the chairman of ICT, please utilize this opportunity. Make sure that you carry home something. Think differently, and you somehow, now or later, you transform yourself into a very different person. Okay? And you will therefore become a motivation to those others who are coming from behind. Okay? So it's a great honor. We have had events like this previously, like last semester. And the members of ICT Guild and the officials who have benefited from participating in events like this. Some of them are yet to graduate, but the links they established, the skills they gained through participating in events like this have enabled them get jobs before they graduate. A month ago, I was called by a firm that was about to employ 2 of our students. They were yet to graduate, and it so happened that I was a referee to both of them. And the job, one of them was going to be given the job. So, that is the kind of benefits you are able to tap from opportunities like this. Okay? So I would want to challenge you very strongly, take this very seriously, and learn something. It is a sacrifice. You are not supposed to pay any money. All you need is for you to be available. Okay? Yeah. And open yourself to new ideas. Continue thinking about that idea. They say that any good thing takes time to hatch, doesn't it? Yeah. Then at the end of the day, you'll realize that what started as a small seed is now a very big tree. Alright? Yeah. So I must also present apologies of the Dean School of Computing and Informatics. He had purpose to be with us this morning, but unfortunately he's fixing a few things at the school, and he will also be involved in the event that DVCAA talked about a while ago. So he's with us in spirit. And maybe as we go on, before this workshop shuts its doors, we will participate in one way or the other. Thank you very much. We'll be together every step of it up to the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cyprian. Okay, now I'd like to invite the chairman of the president, Akirachix, Judith, pick it from there and guide us through.
Hello, good morning. We are all very pleased to be here as Akirachix and the team that we've come with. We've been planning this with James, and I'm so glad that this has finally happened. Planning it, this whole event was planned online with us just making calls and sending emails, and it's just great to see what technology can make happen. If technology wasn't there, we would not have facilitated this event. So I'll tell you a little bit about Akirachix, about Mobile Garage. That's a program that we run, and about all the activities that we do. So I'll start with Akirachix. There's this saying by this lady called Margaret Mead. It says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." In Akirachix, I work with a very ambitious group of ladies. As in, if you ever want to find a group of ambitious ladies, it is Akirachix. We think big. Sometimes we think too big, without even the resources and all that stuff. But it's good to be like that, to have such dreams. So how did we start? all of us were involved in tech in one way or another. We were all students at some point. So we met during the launch of a place called the iHub. How many of you have heard of the iHub in Nairobi? Yes. So we met at the launch of the iHub. And during the event, there were very few ladies in attendance. It was kind of like something like this, only maybe a little bit worse. As in, there were very few ladies you could see. So we had constantly been having conversations that we'd do something about few ladies in tech, but nobody actually did anything. Then during the launch of the iHub, we decided, okay, fine, we're going to do something about it, like seriously. So we met the following week, and we decided that we are going to form an organization that will encourage ladies to enter the field of technology, and that will support the ladies in tech. Keep the ladies who are in tech, and encourage other ladies to be in tech. And we thought that by forming this organization, it will make tech attractive to ladies. Maybe few ladies are entering because they can't see many ladies. So maybe the problem is just causing many other problems. So during the meeting is when we decided on the name Akirachix. The reason we chose the name Akira is a Japanese word. It means energy and intelligence. And we are very energetic and we are intelligent. Yeah, we believe we are intelligent. So that's why we chose the name, to identify us. And we wanted a name that was memorable. We wanted to say Akirachix and people wonder, what is that and where did that come from? So that's really the way we formed Akirachix. Then much later we decided that we want to make a difference in society. We just don't want to support ladies in tech and have meetings. How else can we give back? And since most of us, we were just right out of university, most of us had just worked like a year or two. So we didn't have like money, we were all in entry-level jobs. So we decided, okay, the only thing that we can give is our skills, because we can't give money, because we don't have money. So we decided to form a training program. So when I say Akirachix is very ambitious, the plans we make at that point, the one was well thought out. So we had decided we are going to target girls who come from a place in Dandora and the slums of Mukulu. And we're like, we just go with our laptops and we train them. We didn't think about like where we'll get space, where we'll get electricity. You know, those are things that now when we went on the ground, we realized there's no space, there's no electricity. Where are you going to get these students from? How are you going to tell that they're genuine? And so I can say we have been in existence for the past 2 years, and it's pretty much been learning on the job. And I would encourage you guys to have your big dreams and go after them, and you learn on the job. Because on the way we have found supporters who have helped us with their skills, especially in like just project planning. You know, we had to learn all those skills like how to plan a project and how to write proposals and stuff like that. And then going on, working with the iHub, we learned about the Mobile Garage program now. It's a program by Infodev. Infodev is a donor-funded agency of the World Bank. So we applied for the grant to support activities dealing with mobile applications. The reason we did that is because as we got more involved in the IT industry, in the IT scene, we used to be involved in many events. We used to organize hackathons. We used to help with Mobile Monday organizing in Nairobi. So we thought that with all the skill that we have, we can actually run another program. So Akirachix, what we target, our target areas, we target things that deal with technology, target things that deal with women in technology and youth in technology. The reason we target women and youth, because I think that's a great resource. For the youth, as in with all the skills that you guys have, you have the ability to change the course of this country, to change the course of this continent, to change the future. And it would be great if you realize the power you have within you. And with technology, just as you have been told, we talk a lot about the developments that have come from Kenya. We talk about M-Pesa and, but M-Pesa wasn't really developed by Kenyans. It was just tested in Kenya. So we need to have applications that we can talk about that were built by us and for us. I must say we like to target areas as Akirachix. We like to target areas that people don't really target. We like to go to the road less traveled. Because when we formed Akirachix, many people wondered, why do we even need an organization like Akirachix? But right now is when people are starting to see the need. And we have a lot of support from even the men that we work with. You know, because when I talk to the men we work with, they tell us that we like what you're doing because we know it's going to benefit our sisters and our daughters. And we have seen that this kind of organization like Akirachix, it's actually being replicated in different countries in Africa. We have people in Uganda, people in Zambia trying to build something similar. We have people in Senegal. It's a French-speaking country, but there are people who are trying to build something similar. So when you think about it, this group of girls who had just this one idea are now starting to change the world in different ways. There's something I was going to say, but I kind of forgot. So that's really why we do what we do as Akirachix. And we now went further with all that we have, and now we're targeting both guys and girls through this mobile garage program. The reason we targeted mobile is because mobile is the future for Africa. You know, the mobile phone is Africa's computer. We have more mobile phones than computers in this country, I mean in Africa even. So we need to find ways of exploiting what we have for our own development. If you look at Kenya's Vision 2030, technology is one of the pillars. And I mean, it's great that we have things like phones